We are Anka. Stay tuned for updated real news.
Hello, Anka Daily News viewers. We continue to bring you the most striking developments from the battlefield. Recent events have revealed that the war is intensifying not only on the front lines, but also on strategic facilities. The widening battlefield is shifting the military balance and forcing the parties to radically change their battle plans. What's happening on the ground is not only limited to immediate victories, but also to moves with long-term consequences. So, how can the latest attacks affect the general course of the war? Operations behind the front lines are one of the most critical elements that can determine the fate of a war. In particular, targeting the enemy's logistics centers, production facilities, and energy infrastructure is as important a strategic move as the military advance on the ground. Recent developments make it clear that the war is not only characterized by direct clashes, but also by attacks on economic and industrial facilities. The latest attacks deep inside Russia reveal the new dimensions the war has reached. It's no longer just military units close to the front lines that are being targeted. Oil hubs, strategic air bases, and critical production facilities have also become a direct part of the war. Moreover, it's clear that these attacks are not limited to material losses, but also have a major impact on military strategies. To what extent can these events affect Russia's advantages on the battlefield and its logistical capacity? What do these attacks mean for the course of the war? We'll analyze the consequences of these operations by examining the developments in full detail. Before we get to our report, though, a quick reminder, the Anka Daily News team is definitely real. None of my teammates or me are artificial intelligence. Even though AI is very advanced, it's still not as good as us. So, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our daily reports and explanations. We do read all the comments you leave on our videos, so please continue to share your ideas about our content. Tell us in the comments what content you'd like to see on the Anka Daily News channel. And now let us begin if you're ready. Anka Daily News reports. In the war between Russia and Ukraine, there's a growing escalation of attacks that extend far beyond the front lines. In recent days, Ukraine has inflicted heavy blows on Russia's strategic points with unmanned aerial vehicles or UAV strikes. Oil hubs, military bases, and critical production facilities have been targeted, and these strikes continue to severely damage Moscow's war capabilities. Ukraine's strategy of striking Russian infrastructure that directly supports the war effort is seen as a long-term tactic to weaken Russia's military logistics. These strikes in the last 72 hours targeted a facility belonging to Rosneft, one of Russia's largest oil producers, a strategic bomber base in the Saratov region, and a helicopter facility. These facilities are known to have provided fuel and military equipment to the Russian army throughout the war, while attacks on oil hubs in particular put a strain on Russia's war economy. The targeting of military bases could directly affect the Kremlin's airstrike capacity. According to local sources, Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles hit the Rosneft oil facility in the Saratov region. Head of the Ukrainian Center for Countering Disinformation, Andrei Kovalenko, announced that the attack was successful. Saratov's governor, Roman Basargin, also confirmed the attack, but declined to comment on whether the targeted facility was an oil hub. However, it's claimed that the attack caused serious material damage and could cause disruptions in Russia's fuel supply. Ukrainian drones targeted not only oil hubs but also military facilities. The strategic airbase in Engels, Saratov is home to Russia's most important bomber jets, the Tu-95MS and the Tu-160. These aircrafts are among the nuclear-capable bombers that carry out cruise missile strikes against Ukraine. According to information shared on Telegram channels, during the attack, residents heard machine gunfire and explosions coming from the military airfield. In the published videos, explosions can be seen near the airfield. According to Telegram channels run by independent Russian journalists, the facilities targeted in Ukraine's recent strikes include an oil depot in the Rostov region, oil refineries in Krasnodar Krai, an oil pipeline in the Volgograd region, and a helicopter factory. The targeting of the helicopter factory in particular is seen as an important development that could weaken Russia's air attack capacity in the long term. Military logistics lines, which Russia attached great importance to during the war, are disrupted by these attacks. Ukraine's drone strikes prove that the war continues not only on the front lines, but also in Russia's interior. Damage to oil refineries and military bases can directly affect the Russian military's operations on the ground. These Ukrainian attacks show that the strategy of targeting Russia's military resources is becoming increasingly effective. It remains unclear how the Kremlin will respond to these attacks. While Moscow usually refrains from publicly disclosing such attacks, the inadequacy of Russian defense systems against Ukraine's drone strikes is clearly evident. In addition, Russian officials have indicated that they may deploy more advanced air defense systems to prevent Ukrainian attacks. However, this would mean additional costs for Russia, while Moscow's access to new technologies is increasingly limited due to Western sanctions. Ukraine's latest offensives could significantly change the dynamics of the war. If Kyiv escalates such operations, Russia could suffer even greater military and economic losses. However, Moscow's countermove will be one of the most important factors that will determine the course of the war. Ukraine's drone strikes targeting deep Russian territory stand out as an important strategic move that could affect the course of the war. Attacks not only on the front line but also on critical infrastructures that directly support Moscow's war effort continue to test the logistical capacity of the Russian military. In particular, strikes on oil facilities, refineries, and military bases have the potential to disrupt both Russia's war economy and its operations on the ground. Since the beginning of the war, Russia has targeted Ukraine's energy infrastructure to weaken Kyiv's war capacity. Recently, however, Ukraine has begun to employ a similar strategy against Moscow. These strikes on oil refineries and critical industrial facilities pose a threat that could affect not only military logistics, but also the overall functioning of the Russian economy. How do you think these Ukrainian strikes will affect the course of the war? What measures can Russia take to counter the growing drone threat? What impact could Moscow's military and economic losses have on domestic politics? Let us know in the comments. We read and care about your points of view.